Yeah, and welcome to the interview, Peter.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Thank you for.
And today we're discussing the hot topics of Rollup-based layer 2 scaling solutions and the Polkadot's innovative architecture, both of which have been making waves in the market in recent years. In this episode, we will dive deeper into these topics and explore your thoughts on the development and the future implications. And to begin with, just to set the context for the audience, I'd like to get your thoughts on the widespread attention and support that Rollup-based layer 2 scaling solutions have garnered in the market.
Yes. Okay. So this Rollup based layer 2 scaling solutions gained really significant attention at the last time. There were lots of talk on the last DevCons in Bogota, and there are different approaches how developers all around the world want to implement this, and it's really on getting high attention from everywhere ecosystem, because it kind of allows to solve the scaling issues in Ethereum blockchain for the first time. So it can aggregate, Rollups can aggregate a lot of transactions off-chain and then like bundle them into single transaction that can be recorded on main Ethereum blockchain. And this process greatly can reduce the number of transactions that need to be processed on the Ethereum mainnet. And this way, increasing overall capacity and on the network. And one of the major advantages of Rollup-based solution is that they don't require some major changes on Ethereum protocol itself. And it means that these solutions can be quickly deployed into the Ethereum. And you don't need to do the hard forks or whatever, technology changes, and that's kind of a very, great advantage. And another thing with them is that rollups are greatly customizable. For example, one rollup can be tailored to process small transactions. Others can be designed to handle more complex computations off-chain and interactions with different smart contracts. So in essence, I believe that it's great that a lot of technology evolved, and there are a lot of research making them cost less and less in terms of computation. So there are a lot of researches in math and cryptography, and it's actually a great thing for scaling the blockchains, and because decentralization costs a lot in terms of gas, etc. Yeah, so that's a great technology, and I believe there will be major progress in these and next years in this area.
Yeah, thank you for your excellent overview. Now that we have a basic understanding, now let's discuss the comparison between roll-up chains and the parachains as scaling solutions. Can they be considered as equals, or are there significant differences between them in terms of technology, implementation, and use cases? So how do these two approaches differ? And based on these differences, what kind of applications do you envision could be thriving on each platforms in the coming years?
You can compare them, of course, parachains and roll-up solutions. Well, actually, they are so some roll-up technologies, they can be implemented even on top of parachains, that's for sure. So Polkadot ecosystem can actually use the roll-up technology for sure. As first, like any parachain can embed rollup solution. So have some computation off chain of the parachain and then have it on parachain and then put it inside. So communicate messages on a relay chain, for example. But another way to do it is that while on Polkadot protocol, you can create a bit a different way of validation using this ZK rollups. And there are even some articles in Polkadot forums that suggest that instead of standard validation and approval of blocks from parachain, we can use like a ZK proof, which allow us to skip the approval, since the ZK proof can be, so you don't need to vote on approval because you can deduce like the proof of it out of ZK proof right away. And the difference is actually that in an essence, so these solutions for rollups, they are mostly developed for Ethereum because, as we know, it lacks the scalability. And Polkadot itself already kind of solving it, because like you can treat to some extent parachains as the shards, but with the difference from Ethereum shards that in Ethereum, sharding is like you segregate accounts and smart contracts in the different shards, and so they kind of can be processed in parallel, but the data, you know, are hosted in a different shards and processing. But while in Polkadot, you have a different architecture. You have like heterogeneous multi-chain network, which allow this different chains with different consensus mechanism to communicate with each other on a relay chain and have shared the same, you know, consistent state of the communication with XCM. Yeah, and with the sharing the common protocol for communication. Even. Yeah, and with this different rollups, they are kind of independent from each other, and you need to bridge them in terms of how you will connect it. And yeah, something like this. I hope it was descriptive
Thank
enough.
you. Yeah, thank you for elaborating on that. With Ethereum's implementation of sharding, do you think that Ethereum's architecture has become very similar to Polkadot by combining sharding and rollups?
Well, yes and no, as I kind of already talked in a previous answer. So in terms of scaling possibilities, that both technologies are scalable, yes, but they're scalable in a bit different way. So as I said, Ethereum sharding is a partitioning of the blockchain. So small, more management pieces like shards, and each shard, it will contain only subset of account and smart contracts, and it's kind of isolate. So you splice the Ethereum network on the different shards, and that is how it works in Ethereum. And in Polkadot, each chain contains all the address spaces and have just, you know, particular functionality on this chain. Another chain has another functionality, but the address space is quite the same in these terms, and it allows to segregate like specific tailored computations, because each parachain can be tailored for particular needs, particular business cases, scenarios, and perform one business scenarios on one chain, communicate to another chain through the relay chain or bridge, and then continue of complex business scenario implementation on several chains. So that is like what currently lots of parachains start work. So they are defining standards, how they will communicate and perform like complex orchestration involving different functionality of different chains into one complex like business application. And since it has a different consensus and each parachain can be tailored for particular business need and computed faster, cheaper, and it gives another way of scalability. So we split not everything equally, just, you know, accounts plus some contracts into Ethereum shards, but we kind of split on a functional way. So we split some functions which are greatly performed on one parachain from another functions which performs best on another parachain. So that's a different approach from my point of view, technically. So, but both of them, they are kind of for the solves the main problem of scaling. And about the rollups, as I said, so both Ethereum and Polkadot, they both ecosystem can use the rollups themselves. So in Polkadot, we are not like limited of this functionality. We just already, and I know there are already some projects started that want to introduce rollups and ZKs into Polkadot.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the rollup that gonna be integrated into the Polkadot ecosystem. So, and how do you envision this integration playing out?
So how it will be used, you mean? Yes, so there will be multiple, from my point of view, multiple scenarios covered. So one is just a simple optimistic ZK rollup, for example, a usage on a parachain, the one like, for example, Gear, yeah, for smart contracts. It will work the same way it works in Ethereum, more or less. Another way is that it will be implemented in, as I saw in some proposals in Polkadot forum, it will be implemented in a way that the function which validates the blocks from parachains on a relay chain, that will be using sort of ZK proof and rollup technology to kind of write much more transactions to overcome, I would say, to overcome some architecture pitfalls that are inside this validation part of relay chain when relay chain validates parachain blocks. So there are some limitations there, and there are also not a bottleneck, but kind of a limited amount of things you can do in terms of validation, how many computation you can do during one block. So how much computation you can do, how many resources you can use. And if we can use this ZK and rollup technology on that stage, it means that a big throughput inside a parachain will be okay to be validated on a relay chain. So, which is currently not the case. I mean, in from what I know from other parachains also there, it's not yet the case. So there are some limitations, which is okay for now, but potentially, you know, we can hit the ceiling with the amount of transactions we could put in one block and validate it. Or as an example, in Gear, we consider parallel computation. So it means in one block, we will produce more computation. The more CPU nodes we have, the more CPU on the validator node we have, or collator node we have, the more transactions we will calculate, and more smart contracts will be executed, more gas can be spent. And it will not be able to validate this out of the box right now, for example, on a relay chain. It just doesn't use all the cores and doesn't support this multi-CPU usage, so parallel computing. in a way we need for building these blocks. And if we can use like Rollup technology and do not verify by computing, so performing on the computation on the relay chain, but use ZK or some optimistic Rollup technologies, just ZK, then it will allow us to get the same sort of functionality. We perform a lot of tasks on a parachain, but only aggregated stuff will be posted on a relay chain, and that will also be a major improvement in terms of throughput.
Great insights. Now let's discuss the future of modular development. Rollup is currently undergoing modular development, because I saw a lot of that on the newspapers, and which is expected to significantly lower the development threshold. Additionally, Gear enables the development of dApps in just 5 minutes. So what's your thoughts on the future of modular development and competitions in this space?
Well, yeah, modular development is also kind of a hot topic right now, but I take it a bit broader for me, because for me, modular development is that you separate different aspects of development of technologies into ready-to-use components and maintain them separately, and that way you can reuse other components which other teams are building to build on top of them, because they already proven, etc. You don't need to invest a lot. In that sense, actually, Polkadot itself is also modular development stuff, because you have a substrate, you have pellets, and pellets is the same way modulus. So you can take whatever modules or pellets are out there in the wild, I will say, as proven and developed by other teams, and embed whatever you need in your own parachain or solo chain based on substrate. So this kind of modular mindset in Polkadot was from the beginning, while they were building substrate, not a Polkadot, but substrate. Yeah, and that's a good thing, actually, that Rollup's technology also undergoing this process of modularizing and providing some technologies out of the box and separating computation from consensus, or separating like storage things from also consensus, and it gives a lot of abilities to devs to move faster. Yeah, so as you said, lowering the thresholds to entrance of all these technologies, and that's very good, and we will see more and more in this area for sure. And there will be more and more solutions which people will be able, so developers will be able to integrate in their solutions in dApps or in blockchains. And as for Gear, well, if I may express it this way, that Gear dApps currently designed, so Gear platform is designed to create not only the solid dApps with one contract, but we are also supporting the idea to separate different functionality into different smart contracts and use them as a microservices, which is like this module for, I don't know, tokens, this module for verification of ownership of something, another module which provide like DNS records, another module which provides you the way to store some metadata, etc. And all these smart contracts in Gear, which you can write really easily, also allow you to build complex dApps, complex solutions on top of existing things which other developers created, and the things which are proved, the things which are becoming sort of protocols and standard, and this way. And yeah, so this will also lower the threshold for building some complex things. But in an essence, we already in Gear working for a long time and have an idea that even those who are not familiar with the blockchain, those who are not familiar with like domain specific languages like Solidity, can come into Web3 and really fast build whatever applications they want to do, playing around and implement Web3 part easily on Gear smart contracts, which do not allow any knowledge of blockchain technology under the hood. That's our also idea, and that the thing we are working on, providing more and more tooling for those who are in Web2 world, some modules, as you say, to build on top, and this way bringing more and more people into Web3 sphere.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. And we've heard a lot of debate over whether optimistic rollup or ZK rollup is more advantageous. What's your thought on this topic? Which approach do you believe has more potential in the long run?
Well, they both are kind of, they solve the same problem from one point of view, but in a different way, and have some advantages and some disadvantages. That's out of the design itself. This optimistic rollup is a solution which based like on a fraud proof to ensure the security of transactions and have this like period of finalization. It's a relatively long one, can be 2 weeks. And when the debate starts, a lot of time will be needed to resolve it. And while this resolution time is going on, there is no transactions in this optimistic rollup. So it's kind of stuck unless we are resolving this, fraud problem. And that's kind of a negative thing. But on the other way around, it's computational lighter comparing to ZK. So in terms of computation, the gas fees are less. And the confirmation is taking a long time. And for ZK, it has zero knowledge proofs to ensure the validity and security of things going off-chain. There is no need on-chain confirmation for this because it has a proof out of the box. It's like I said, faster confirmation and greater privacy, as some sensitive informations, as we know, for ZK can be off-chain and not available on-chain, but you still have a proof that something happened. But it's more complex cryptography, and it's more complex topic itself, ZK, and more gas for sure for execution. So both of them, optimistic rollups and ZK rollups, have their own strengths and disadvantages, but both have use cases in application development. It just depends on what you kind of need of the application, what is the business case behind it. So depends on what is okay for you to longer verification time, so longer time to finality, or like your need fast finality and okay to spend more gas.
Yeah.
I think there will be more and more evolution in this area, and that's not only the final stuff we see, optimistic rollups, ZK rollups. So there will be some more, for sure, some evolution in mass, some precompiled stuff, so some more support from the blockchains itself, and there will be, as far as I know, there are plans to create some sort of palette for Polkadot even, yeah, for which supports complex cryptography like this VLS signature, etc. So that we can use later for implementing rollups on ZK stuff and rollups on top of Polkadot.
Yeah, can't agree more. As we look to the future, how do you see the development of Polkadot evolving in the coming years? And what role do you see it playing in the broader blockchain ecosystem?
Well, as I see now, there are lots of projects already there in the space, and they are evolving. I see a lot of new cases coming from the corner. So as more adoption of Web3 philosophy we see in the world, the more new use cases and business cases are coming. And I see that in near future there will be more like specifically tailored chains, but I already see that there are a lot of work going between the parachains themselves. So now it's not like a separate teams doing their own piece of technology and all in solving just the specifically tailored use case, but there are lots of interactions. So and I see that there will be more and more and more parachains tailored to specific stuff, but meanwhile we all will start to communicate more through XCM, through other transport things, and there will be more and more bridges, and that way we will enable dev builders or businesses or communities or other users of Web3 to create more and more applications and use Web3 in a broader way. And for now, I see a lot of not the marketing, I would say, but a lot of events are around educational and popularization. So we bring the knowledge to. So now we are building technology from one point of view, but the second very important topic is bringing more knowledge into the world about Web3 technology, the things you can do with Web3, and changing your philosophy to shift from Web2 things and start thinking more in a decentralized way and have all this Web3 topic covered by the technology and solutions that you can build on top of Polkadot and Ethereum, of course. And it's not like the world will be only Ethereum world or Polkadot world. There are a lot of space there. So we are just now, it's quite big Web3 already comparing to what it was like, I don't know, several years ago. But still, it's a tiny amount of, entire populations for those who can actually benefit from it, and we just need to educate and bring all of them, and then it will be space for everyone, not for one Ethereum but for 10 Ethereums and etc. So we just need to interconnect a lot of networks all together, which is good for Polkadot have the solution out of the box. Yeah, and I see evolving in that area.
And as we wrap up this interview, what would be your advice for developers and the blockchain enthusiasts looking to contribute or to get involved with Rollup or Polkadot ecosystem?
Yeah, for sure. So there are a lot of materials out there. So then, especially since we now have ChatGPT, which can help to answer questions, educate a lot. So it's really powerful tool. Search for more information on what like the Polkadot can do, and what's a substrate is, and what use cases can be built. But first of all, like digest the philosophy in Web3 for sure, and then form up your business case, the solution which you want to provide, and then build it on substrate, either smart contracts or you can start a substrate project. If it's just, first step into the blockchain world, I would recommend more start with smart contracts to fully digest the philosophy and how the things work in the blockchain and Web3. And then later, if you have a good MVP, proven business case that you think will really require a separate blockchain just to implement your DApp or your, I would say, solution, Web3 solution, then start with Substrate. So continue with Substrate, because Substrate is much more powerful for sure, but will require some effort to build things, etc. But still, there are a lot of tooling already available. The Substrate is a good technology in terms of building a blockchain from scratch. A lot of modules, as I said, are ready for you. So just combine and write what particular things you need. But still, it's much more. It's not about writing the code, but running a parachain is a different story from just writing the code. It has a lot on top. You need to build a community of validators. You need to win this slot and governance, and you need to test much more before you can go live. If you're just using smart contract platform, it's an easy way to start, where you have all these things sorted out by the smart contract platform for you.
Thank you, Peter, for sharing your insights on Rollup-based layer 2 scaling solutions and Polkadot's architecture. It's clear that there are exciting times in the blockchain space, and it's important to stay informed and updated on the latest development. And your expertise and vision for the future have provided us with valuable perspective on the potential benefits and the challenges of these technologies. So we look forward to see how Gear, Rollups, and Polkadot continue to evolve and make an impact in the blockchain ecosystem. Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you for calling. It was a great pleasure.